Okay, so this one's about done. Yeah, that one already made its way back. Okay. So, this one's about done. It's the smallest of them, it seems. The runt of the litter. Let's see if it wants any more. You gotta be careful because sometimes it gets up their nose. You can't do that too much. It's really hard for me to not do that. So you gotta pay really, really close attention. If it gets up their nose, you gotta let them it out, okay? You can't just keep sitting there feeding it to them. This one's done. This is the runner litter. It usually doesn't eat very much. That one's done. This one I think is the biggest out of them. It's almost completely white. I spend about a quarter wasting it. So you want a full syringe. You want to take it in your hand and you want to try and cup its little mouth somewhere in a corner of your finger or on your feet. It's peeing on me. It beat on me. It beat on me. So you want just a little bit. I put it over here. So you want to put it into like the corner of your finger and kind of guide its head. Let's see if I can get a good example here. Even there, that's fine. And look, it's already got the scent of milk. So you just want to pour it onto your finger a good distance away. And it'll find it. Good distance away from its head. And it'll trickle down. And it'll find the milk. Try not to get it in the nose. It's extremely easy to get it in the nose. The big one's usually pretty good about not getting it in its nose, but you still got to be careful. And they'll just lap it up off of your finger. And once they get a good feeding going, they'll sit there until they're ready to be done. Once you've got it going, they'll sit there and eat and eat and eat, and then they'll push against you, and that's how you know they're done. I try to feed the big one either last or second to last. And you want to make sure to wash your hands before and after. And I mean wash, like scrub them before you handle. I think this one's almost done. Anyways, I try to feed the big one either last or second to last because it's big and it eats a lot more than the other ones do. It really does. It takes like almost a whole ass quarter of a syringe, while the other ones take maybe half a quarter. Damn, this one is, yeah. This is definitely the big one. It's still eating. It is still going. It is definitely the chungus of the group. You done? You done eating? I'm glad I fed the runt before I fed you. You wouldn't have left much for the runt. I think it's almost done. It's slowing down. Now I am wasting about a quarter of it. I do waste about a quarter of it just because it, you know, it'll get away from me, or, yeah, this one's done. The big one usually tucks its head in. I forgot that. The big one usually tucks its head in. Alright. It is done. It is fed. I'm feeding the last one now. The tricky part is getting them to recognize that there's milk. Sometimes you gotta put a little bit of a drop on their lip or near their nose. And then once you get them situated and they started to calm down, you gotta be careful because they will bite you, but they ain't got no teeth. It's just all gum. So it's like a lizard biting you. She's a little bit harder than a lizard. Some of them just don't know how to not fucking get it in their nose. And they do it. They're the ones that fucking do it 9 out of 10 times. And then you just gotta clear it away from their nose. This one's fucking hungry. It's so damn hungry it won't sit still for feeding. And no, it hasn't already been fed. All these other ones have already been fed. I really need to find a way. There's one that's almost completely black. Then there's one that's like half black. And there's the biggest one. And then there's, this one's not the runt. I think the runt is half black. Okay, I think this one's done. Now I'll just make sure real quick that this one's not one I need to feed. Okay. Everyone needs to go back up underneath the covers now. They're fed, they're happy. They're content. I am turning the temperature up on this because it's way too cold in there for them. Okay, and that's usually what's about left. That is perfectly fine. I'd much rather have some left over. I'd much rather have some left, a quarter of it left, than not have enough to feed all of them. And that quarter is my wiggle room. I got a lot of it on me. I got maybe at least half a quarter on me. So, oh, and some rabbit pee. But, yeah, I got at least half a quarter. I'm going to try to send this to you on Messenger. I don't know how well it'll work, but I'm also going to instruct you. It is very crucial on how they are fed. If they get too much up their nose, they can't sneeze it out. If they don't stay warm enough during this, meaning you don't do it within a 20-minute, tops 30-minute time period, they could get too cold and die. As hot can be on the faucet to warm up their milk. Okay? This is what you use. You put as hot can be from the faucet in here, and then you put the milk in here. You're gonna have to rinse this off after you put the milk in it and stick it in there. It won't sink now, but it'll sink when it's full. The only reason it's not sinking now is because there's only a quarter in there. But it'll sink all the way down to the bottom. And when this water starts to get cold, then it's ready. Because it's coming from the refrigerator and it's almost ice cold. Almost, not quite. It's not frozen. So, it's going to take some warming up. All this is being kept in this top cabinet to the right. This cabinet here with this stuff in it, okay? It is being kept up there. Good luck, Godspeed. I'm sorry I have to leave you with this. Thank you again.